It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. It is a Monday, unlike any other Monday. We have so much to talk about today. I know you're like, but I don't get it. There's not a lot of Bravo shows. Oh, we're past Bravo now. Now, this is officially the Diddy Deep Dive channel. I'm not just saying that we're only going to talk about Diddy, although I will give you a summary of Kim Porter's book, at least the first part of it. I've got notes. We have so much to talk about today. If you are here in the audience, whether you're watching live, I see you guys, or you're watching on a replay, leave a comment below. Let me know, are you interested in more Diddy deep dives? I can't get enough. I have been taken over. I said it yesterday on Patreon. My house, I am in the hole. I'm in the scroll hole of Diddy, and I can't get out because I'm surrounded by lube. And if you know what I mean, it's like there's lube coming out of every hole. It's so it's just it's just one of those days. We have to talk about all of it. And I'm finding out more by the moment. So like bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. We will have such a good show today. I feel like we got to get right to it. Right to it. We've got to get into it. So, everyone, get ready for the best hour of your day. This is Daily Dose of Donna. Are we still here? Did Diddy take us out? I'm still here. I am still here. I have not been taken out by Diddy yet. I'm not nervous about it anymore, you guys. I have moved past that. I am not nervous. I wasn't nervous to talk about Scientology. I'm not nervous to talk about Kyle Richards and Mauricio. I'm not nervous to talk about anything. I even get blocked to talk about these things. Listen, I put my Instagram, abilities on the line here. Remember, my name is Donna Bowling, and I have been blocked by Jax Taylor. Just want everyone to remember that. I want everyone to think about that on a daily basis. We can talk about his little show up at Giggly Squad Live this weekend. We can talk about all kinds of things. Mostly the fact that I don't think Jax is a changed man. I think Jax is the same old freaking Jax. And seeing him, he did show up at the Giggly Squad live show on Saturday night, along with, I guess Sheena was there, Brock was there, Tom Schwartz, Jax, and randomly Jesse, one of the Mom Talk girls. So it really was quite the show. It was quite the show over there. Now, at that time, at that moment, and like Jax actually stood up. I guess they go to the audience. I don't know how this works. I didn't go to the show, but I guess they go to the audience and Jax talks. And the second Jax talks with his slick back hair and his creepy ass mustache, I'm like, you know what? I don't believe anything you say. I don't believe anything you say about anything. To me, I truly do not believe that Jax is a changed man. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Jaguar Wright starts talking about Jax Taylor. Why wasn't Jax Taylor involved in the Diddy takedown? You know he was dying for an invite to one of those parties. Jax Taylor was like, man, I'm really into hip hop. My name's not actually Jax Taylor. It's Jax T. Jax T. Oh, gosh, you guys. Okay, the info's coming in hot and strong. I see it in the comments. You guys are wanting me to talk about Al B. Schur's post. I don't know what that is. I know who he is, but I don't know what that is. So I'm going to look it up while I'm with you because I'm trying to give you guys like as much as I can. I really am. I just don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't want to mess anything up, I don't want to say the wrong information. And I feel like there's so much information coming out every hour, every moment. So it's like, I don't want to do anything wrong. But I do see Al Be Sure is on Instagram. And I don't know. Okay. Okay. Now I see it. Okay. What is this? Part 1. Wow. Okay. We're going to have to get into this. Al Be Sure is Kim Porter's first husband. Kim Porter. Okay. Pause. We will get into this when we talk about Diddy. We cannot do this again. On Friday, we talked about Diddy. Then we moved on. Then we talked about Diddy. Then we moved on. Then we got back to Diddy. Guys, Diddy is bringing us back in. His lube is strong. Strong lube. Let's get into the show so we can actually get some stories out of the way, and then we can talk a little bit and then we can talk about Diddy. Actually, we'll talk about Diddy first, but okay. I am so excited to talk about our new sponsor for Daily Dose of Donna. This is not a drill. This one is big, and I have it right next to me. Y'all, if you can't read this backwards, it's called, well, are you guys seeing this? You guys probably see this straight. When I'm looking at the screen, I see it backwards. iRESTORE. Now, you're wondering what iRESTORE is. Let me just unzip this amazing handy dandy carrier case. iRESTORE is a stormtrooper's helmet. Just kidding. It's not. It's Darth Vader's. Just kidding. It's not. iRESTORE. Hold. You guys, we talk so much about our hair on this. Now, I don't think I'm plugged in, so I don't think I can do this without plugging in right now, and I'm not going to go out of my way. But I want you guys, I commit to the bit, okay? But I'm not joking you when I tell you, not only have I been using this for the last week, so has Lance. Yes, my husband is very concerned about thinning hair. And if you guys are concerned about thinning hair or losing hair, this is your moment. Because iRESTORE, this show is brought to you by iRESTORE, which is the clinically proven advanced hair growth system designed for women or men who want to say goodbye to thinning hair and hello to volume. Ladies, we all know the struggle. And when I say ladies, I mean ladies and men. Let's be real. Your hairbrush is starting to look like a stuffed animal, and your shower walls have enough hair on them to build a wig, and not like a Kim Zolciak wig, like a bad wig. If you're tired of dealing with thinning hair or hair loss, I want you to listen up. The Restore Elite is the most powerful device on the market, packed with 500 lasers and LEDs to provide maximum scalp coverage to help you grow thicker, longer, healthier hair. The FDA-cleared iRESTORE Elite harnesses the power of low-level light therapy. That's LLLT. It's a method to regrow thicker and fuller hair. It's the most non-invasive, pain-free, and drug-free way to bring your hair back to life. It boosts blood flow, cellular activity, it reduces inflammation, etc. So this guy, the iRESTORE Elite, you can sit back, relax, and binge watch your favorite show. Lance and I were watching Chaos last night on Netflix with Jeff Goldblum, trading off our iRESTOREs. We share toys. But while it works its science-backed magic on your scalp, grow thicker, healthier hair naturally with visible results in just 3 months. Okay, so you're supposed to use this consistently every single day if you can, as much as possible. I really like it. It's super comfortable. I've had one of these before. Like I bought one off Amazon that's like a little bit, kind of like a janky one. It was so, okay, I think Diddy's here in the form of a gnat. My gnat is back. It was so uncomfortable. I'm not joking. It felt like I was like in some sort of machine. It was horrible. This is all padded. It's so comfortable. Like I said, it's really sleek, and it's nice because you can take off your Darth Vader helmet, no problem. You get it back in the carrier case. You can travel with it. No one's going to know. Could be anything in there. So I have a $600 off code. $600 off this guy. $600 off for a limited time only when you use code DailyDose at iRestoreLaser.com. I also have a direct link right below in the show notes. That's your order at iRestoreLaser.com with promo code DailyDose. $600 off. I'm giving you $600 and you say I give you nothing. Thank you, iRESTORE. I'm really excited about it. I'm really super excited about it because I have very thin hair, so very happy. I did see a comment that I really want to share. So far in 2024, DDOD has been brought to you by hair helmets, meat, vibrators, Jennifer Aniston in the shower, compression socks, and gusseted crotches. I love you. Michelle, you know me and my show. We're everything. Okay, let's get into the show now. Now that we're talking about hair thinning products, and I better make more money than Jax Taylor. Okay, because remember Jax Taylor talked about his hair thinning products? No. do not support Jax Taylor. You support me. Got it? Let's get into a couple small stories before we get into the big kahunas of the day. Let's talk about Mormon wives really fast. And I'm just going to get through this real fast because, to be honest, how I feel about Mormon wives is like, I feel like you guys are interested in it, and I'm not so interested in it. Like, mm, do I really give a shit that they break up or make up, Taylor and him? No, I really actually don't. I just think that, this is one of those things that it's at the top of the pop culture world, the Mormon wives, it's going viral all over, so I got to talk about it. But one of the main couples, the main swinger, the piece de resistance of Mormon wives, her name is Taylor Frankie Paul. She's the one that in the show was highly, like, episode 1, she was single just out of a swinging scandal. Episode 2, she was 8 months pregnant. Like, there was a very strange continuity issue there. She was very, very pregnant with her then boyfriend Dakota, who ended up being a big part of the show. And a huge part of the show was them fighting. Truly, I never saw love. I just saw the fact that he annoyed the shit out of her. He gave her the ick. He was controlling. He was annoying. He was over the top. He was mad at her over everything she did. He talked badly about her friends. He seemed like a pretty bad guy. And yet she was like, dang, I'm having a baby with this guy. What do I do? I guess I'm in another bad relationship. So since the show has aired, they've been trying to portray like everything's good. We're good. Everything's fine. We're so okay. And on September 9th, even they posted a TikTok where she was like, I won. I got Dakota. You guys didn't, because there was always these, cheating scandals in the back or like behind their, behind their backs. And sure enough, in the last couple days, she's been all of a sudden posting these very like melancholy moments where she's alone with her baby. This is the best time yet. All I promised to be is a good mom to you. I just wanted to see your birth on the show. I can't watch it. I can't wait to live this next side of me. They've broken up. And whether or not it's for the show, I don't know. I'm not sure if I care so much. I'm just happy that she's out of a bad relationship. There, check, did it. Talked about the Mormon wives breakup. It was on the cover of everything. We're moving on. The reason why I'm saying we're moving on is because we're talking about Diddy. And once we talk about Diddy in life, like all these other stories, it's like, whatever. Here's another whatever story, but we got to talk about it. Angelina Jolie is now on a cover of, she's on the cover of what? Hold on. Fashion book, CR Fashion Book. Why do I not know what CR Fashion Book is? Do you guys know what that is? It clearly is a fashion book, but she basically is on the cover of this magazine, and she says she was overwhelmed by the beautiful feeling of putting her children first in life. She has 6 kids. Obviously, she has 2 kids. She has Maddox, 23, Pax, 20. She also has daughters Zahara, 19, Shiloh, 18, 16-year-old twins Knox and Vivian with her ex-husband, Brad Pitt. And she is now saying that it's a beautiful feeling to put your kids before you. And she's saying this at the exact same time that Brad Pitt, they mentioned, has not been photographed with his 6 children in 8 years. You guys, I hate to say it, and I don't know. None of us really know what went down. My guess is, from what we've read, is that Brad Pitt was a shady guy. He seemed like a pretty aggressive man, according to the stories. He seemed like a pretty tough father. He seemed like he was maybe drinking a lot. We do know, and we've heard multiple people say that he smelled, which is an NO for me, right? I don't know. We don't know. None of us were there. But I would imagine, and what I'm getting from this is a weird sister wives, Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt through line. And when I tell you, I never thought that I could connect Brad Pitt in my brain with Cody Brown. But it's weird because I mentioned this story, and like all of last night's Sister Wives was about the fact that Cody Brown has no relationship with his kids, which we'll get into later. So is Brad Pitt the new Cody Brown? Do we have some like sort of connection there? I don't know. For me, to not talk to your kids is a big one when it's on the parents. I don't know. It's tough because I don't talk to my dad. So like I don't know. I don't judge people for not speaking to their parents if it's a bad relationship. That's why I want to say it's Brad Pitt's fault, because I do believe it's Cody Brown's fault. Like, do you really think that Angelina Jolie pulled all of her kids away from Brad and, like, did the parental, alienation? All I know about Angelina Jolie is that now I've seen her so many times throughout the years in different situations with her kids. Like, I saw her at a Rite Aid with her kids. I saw her at her karate studio with her kids, like sitting through a karate class, which to me was my version of hell on earth. I would drop my kids off and I would go and run an errand for an hour, or I would come back for the last like 5 minutes and watch them do their last kayas. This is when they were like six, 8. I always looked at it as like, oh, I get an hour to do what I need to do, or even just sit in my car. But she would sit there. Angelina Jolie would sit there on Friday afternoons with one of her kids and watch her kids do karate. I mean, to me, that shows like pretty active parenting. So I don't know. Who knows? I know that Courtney Cox was just photographed with Brad Pitt. So there's clearly some connection. I think Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt are also still cool. And I just told you guys this last week when I was watching that Beetlejuice, that Justin Theroux is in that movie. That's Jennifer Aniston's ex. And Brad Pitt is one of the producers. So, like, there is a little weird connection. Are they the next P. Diddy? That's all I have. That's all I think now. Now, every single time I see Hollywood people, I'm like, what was your connection to Diddy? Because okay, we're not getting into Diddy. Donna, bad. Save the Diddy. Save it. Just remind me to talk about all these things when I get to Diddy. And I'm like, what's the story again? Anyway, so I'm just always like so surprised by the whole, you know, Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie story. Like, who would have thunk that it would end that tragic for the family? I mean, I guess we could have assumed, right? It's Hollywood after all. Okay. I don't care about Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. I was going to talk about the fact that they're putting on this united front, always holding hands, walking down New York City. We're so in love. Everything's fine here, guys. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Do we want to talk just another little small story before we get into the big guns? I mentioned it last night on Patreon. By the way, I released a Patreon last night. Thank you so much for all of you. It's so funny. Patrice just said in the comments, right as I said that. It's so funny. Donna, good Patreon yesterday. Thank you. I released a Patreon last night where I really went into Diddy and from what I knew last night, which is like so much less than what I know today. And we talked about a few other stories, including Hayden Panetierre. So Hayden did talk about her people journey. Her People magazine article and interview that came out and how depressing and awful it was. We talked about this last week. We haven't really seen a lot of her, and it's so hard because she, to me, exemplifies or like is a lot of our, I don't know about childhoods, but like she was on a show that I watched so much in my 20s, like Nashville. And I thought she was so wonderful. And it's just so sad to see kind of what has happened to her. But she went through so many tragic things, including the fact that she's given up her daughter, essentially just gave her daughter to her ex, saying like, I'm not fit to parent. And her brother just died, her younger brother. And so she was on a People magazine interview last week and they released it on Instagram and people were in shock because she looked awful. She looked slumpy and tired and her eyes were like kind of like not there. She definitely looked like, in my opinion, in my expert, opinion, which is not, she looked like she was on something, but she's saying that she was just really tired. She says the medicine that I'm on is none of your business. The interview went really well. We had some great moments. Everyone was fine, but People was given I'm paraphrasing. Obviously, she didn't say this word for word, but she said People was given a final like cut of it, and we didn't have approval over what they used. So it makes me wonder about People at People. Those People at People. Makes me wonder, at what point is it good to like release salacious information and be really kind of like dirty? It's feeling Perez Hilton circa, drawing penises on people's pictures. Like, it's one thing to talk about when I talk about Cody Brown or Jax Taylor, these characters on reality shows, and yes, it's who they are in real life, but it's really who they're showing themselves to be versus something like this where you're taking advantage of someone who's clearly not in the best situation. So it did make me really sad to see that interview. And I hope more than anything that they can, that she can kind of like get it back and maybe have some sort of a comeback. I don't know. It didn't look very good. So she did speak about that, and I'm glad that she'll hopefully have the last word. Another small story before we get into the big ones. Katy Perry. Katy Perry is officially, in my eyes, one of the most unlikable people. I don't know about you guys. Her interviews that she just did with Call Her Daddy were quite possibly some of the worst things. Like the worst quotable. You remember when she was like, I'm going to give you a blowjob. There's so many blowjobs to do the dishes, Orlando. So annoying. And I don't want to hate someone, but like, I kind of don't. I kind of think I do. I don't know why. You guys, why does she trigger so many people? What is it about her? The girls on the toast say it really well. They kind of talk about the fact that they think she just doesn't know who she is as an artist. And I think that that's what it is. It's like, it doesn't feel confident because it feels so like whatever's working at the moment, let's go with it. So in one moment I'll be this like bubblegum Gwen Stefani old school girl, and then another moment I'll be like really emotional and Taylor Swifty. And I think that like people just feel like the audience just doesn't know who she is because she doesn't know who she is. So it's like it feels like you're just trying to find what's working rather than going after your own heart and like following in your own personal footsteps. But her new record, 143, becomes the lowest scoring album on Metacritic since 2011. And we've had a lot of albums come out in the last 13 years. Metacritic is a site that assigns a numerical value to music, movies, and TV shows based on weighted scores from professional critics. And Katy Perry, whose album 143 had a score of 34. And the last seen album that had that low of a score was called Famous First Words by Viva Brother. And you know what? I think it was their famous last words too, because who here has heard of Viva Brother? Viva Brother, I mean, when I think of the word Viva, I think of, life or the towels, the paper towels that I use. Among the reviews cited in the Metacritic total was from the Los Angeles Times' Mikhail Wood, titled "In a Year of Great Pop Music, Katy Perry's latest is pop trash." The problem for Perry is that these songs are bad and not even in a fun way. Ouch, ouch, ouch. It just sounds like what do you think she's doing right now? She's sitting at home like, what's next? Like, what am I going to do? I wonder what she's going to do. Okay, Katy, well, you tried. Maybe next time don't come out being so annoying. Okay. Have you guys seen the Menendez Brothers show on Netflix? I really wanted to watch this. I can't do it because of certain things that I've seen. I'm going to show you. Let's see if I can do this and show you. So there's this TikTok artist. Well, he's not just on TikTok. He's everywhere. His name is Jordy Cray. I love him. I find his stuff to be really, really interesting. His name is Jordan, but he does pop culture and deep dives. He did a video about, so I was going to start watching the Menendez Brothers on Friday night. I didn't watch it for whatever reason. And then I saw this review on Saturday morning, and it truly gave me the ick. And I am so confused if this is the case. Now, let me just give you a little background on the Menendez brothers. These are two brothers who who murdered their two married parents. So it's Eric and Lyle, I want to say, are the brothers' names. I can't remember. Yeah, I think it's Eric and Lyle. What I was so shocked by and interested by this is that I went to school in Beverly Hills. And when did this actually take place? Menendez Brothers crime took place, let's see, 1996. They were convicted. for the murders of their parents. But I'm trying to remember, when did they actually 1989. So I was 8 years old when this happened, and the Menendez lived in the flats of Beverly Hills. Menendez Brothers home address. Elm Drive, okay? So let me show you this little clip that I see. Not a clip, but like a website that I see with her house, because I was so interested in this. I lived in West Hollywood. Okay. I lived in West Hollywood, but I went to school in Beverly Hills. So I went to school at Hawthorne Elementary, which was in the flats of Beverly Hills too. And it was 5 blocks away, or 2 blocks away from Elm Drive. I mean, it's Rexford. My street was on Rexford. Then there's Alpine, there's Elm. I mean, it's right there. So I remember being like, this is crazy that this happened right at our school. It was really a shocking moment. This is a stunning home. Like, this is the house. I don't know if this is a recent picture. I don't know, but this was the house. 1989 is when the market the murder happened, and I guess it was on the market for years. Now, okay, Sam DeLuge, who I know that name, purchased it for $3.7 million in 2001. But now I believe they're trying to sell it for way more than that. Would you guys buy this house? If you had the money, would you buy a house where this murder was taking place in? I'm just curious. Anyway, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I thought this was so interesting. Jordan did a little kind of takedown on the show and why he found it to be so hard to watch. And he ended up getting picked up on, I believe it was on like Entertainment Tonight or something, talking about it. Because when I saw this, I was like, what is happening? Hold on. Here is the clip of Jordan talking about it.
Ryan Murphy is disgusting. I don't even know where to begin with this because I was cautiously optimistic going into this, but after watching just 2 episodes, I'm not even going to finish this garbage. He's making it seem as if Lyle and Eric were, like, into each other. What the fuck is this?
Are we in that well? Probably not. So we're going to find the well and we're going to destroy it. But until then, we are living our best lives. Okay?
What?
And we are never going to fucking go back.
And this.
These are brothers.
I know Monsters is a series that Ryan has done, but I don't think that title applies here. I think Ryan Murphy also tries to cater to gay audiences, even when it's not necessary. He had both of them shirtless and in Speedos throughout the first couple episodes. For what? He's also trashing up and exploiting a very tragic story. Can we please stop Ryan Murphy from making any more shows?
Okay. So I don't know what you guys think about Ryan Murphy. I think he's smart in some ways. I think a lot of his stuff has gone completely like balls to the wall weird. I stopped watching a lot of his shows after the original, like, Glee. I'm sorry. I don't get it. My friend who watched the show, he said this is totally insane that he would like think this. He clearly hasn't watched the rest of the show. And if he watched the rest of the show, he would understand. I personally cannot imagine why in the world they would be portrayed like having some sort of a romantic and sexual kind of connection to each other. I find it really, really weird. So you guys kind of agree. Some people feel like just because you were abused as a child doesn't mean that you become a murderer. Absolutely not. It did feel really exploitative. Suki says, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that it's one of those things where you kind of have to like open your eyes to just knowing that this is an interpretation. What I thought was really interesting is that Kim Kardashian just visited the Menendez brothers in prison after Eric, one of the brothers, slammed the inaccurate Netflix series. And Kim Kardashian and Ryan Murphy are friendly because they've worked together on a few different things. American Horror Story, I want to say. They're in San Diego at the Richard J. Donovan Correctional Facility in San Diego. And Kim Kardashian, can you imagine if all of a sudden I was like, and Kyle Richards? No, Kim Kardashian met with Eric and Lyle Menendez, notorious for their high profile murder trial in the 90s. This meeting was reported by TMZ, and she went with Chloe and Chris and probably cameras, let's be real. She engaged with a group of around 40 inmates to discuss her ongoing commitment to criminal justice reform, per the outlet's source. Notably, they were joined by actor Cooper Koch. Koch? Koch? I'm not Koch? Who portrays Eric in the series. A significant topic of discussion was green space, which talks about beautifying prison yards, this and this and that. Look, good for Kim that she's able to do all this wonderful stuff. Weirdly, my brain goes back to Diddy and everything. So I'm like, distractions. It's all about distractions. Candace wants to know, where do you find Jordan on TikTok? You can find him, and I say this because I lovingly talk about him. I think he's really good at what he does. It's at Jordy Cray. So JORDYCRAY, and you can tell him I sent you. He's a good guy. So I just don't really understand. Listen, just because of the Gypsy Rose story, which I still to this day have not done my research on and don't care about it. Like, I'm grossed out thinking about that story. I don't know why. It just irks me. But just because Gypsy Rose got out of jail after, her mother was murdered, like, it doesn't mean that everyone that murders their parents just gets out. I don't believe the story. I just don't. The whole thing, I want those two to stay in jail forever. Weird. Okay, let's move on. Do we do Diddy or do we do Coyote Pass? What do we do first? I think we start with Diddy and we go to Coyote Pass because we have to end on a high note. With Diddy, we get dark and depressing. And with Sister Wives and Coyote Pass, we get, well, let's be real, dark and depressing, but in like a happy way, right? Like in a funny way. It's like ramen hair. Okay. Yes, Jordan is on Instagram too. Okay. Let's get into Diddy. Now, I'm just going to tell you what I'm going to focus on today because there's too much to focus on that it's unreal. When I tell you, everything that we're learning about Diddy is word of mouth right now. We do know certain things that were in the indictment and in the paperwork and by the feds and like what they found at the house, etc. But we don't know the true story of what exactly went down other than what people are saying. For example, Jaguar Wright is one of the most incredible smart people when it comes to this story. She speaks eloquently. She speaks so like meticulous. Like, I don't know how to explain it in the way that she speaks like she's writing a song. It's just so engaging in the way that Jaguar speaks. Cat Williams has been speaking about this for years, but more recently, I've been very, very invested in Jaguar Wright and Gene Deal. Gene Deal was Diddy's bodyguard for years. So imagine the things this guy saw. Now, a lot of people have been named. A lot of people have been named as being part of this. I went into this in detail yesterday on Patreon, but Usher as being an incredibly significant part of this situation, meaning he was involved in it. And I want you to know that P. Diddy essentially adopted Usher and was his guardian when he was young. I think Usher was about 14 and P. Diddy was about 23. And then find it interesting that Justin Bieber was discovered and then Usher essentially did the same thing to him. We talked about the 48 hours with Diddy video also yesterday on Patreon. This video is because remember, all this shit is on video. Like, that's the weirdest stuff, is like how documenting this man was in his life. It was all on video. And it makes me wonder about those people that are like, I'm putting it out there for the world to see, because they're either so narcissistic, entitled, I don't know, where they feel like the more that they share publicly, the less people are going to think that you're hiding anything privately. But it's almost like people that commit crimes and then get caught and then get released and then commit another crime because they like want to play with the game. I'm looking at you, OJ. And it makes me wonder, like, is it a thrill? How much can we do right in front of your damn eyes for us to feel like we're getting away with something behind the scenes, you know? Um, okay. I believe that, in my opinion, I believe that Usher was part of the ring in some capacity, whether he was an abuser or an abused. I don't know. My guess is an abuser from what Jaguar said. She said Usher should be doing time with Diddy. Everyone does not feel this way about Justin Bieber. Most people in the industry that are speaking out feel like Justin Bieber was a victim in some capacity. We don't know. Although he just collabed with Diddy in the last year or so. So you wonder, at what point was this like a power experience? Did he feel scared? Was he nervous? You have to wonder about people like Justin Bieber, who were so invested and so big in the industry and then just like completely made a left turn and said, "Get me out." And really, Justin Bieber does seem, I mean, it's kind of right around the time he met his wife that he's like completely like pulled away from everything. Um, allegedly. You know, there's a lot of people that were around his life through the years on and off. And yesterday I posted the clip of Wendy Williams and Diddy. Now, Wendy Williams was a very outspoken person against Diddy, and she was one of the only ones that wasn't scared to talk about it. Sure enough, she did have him on her show in 2017 to kind of like show that we're good now. We're adults. We can do this. We can kind of get along. And I can't show you the clip because of, copyright issues. It was on the Wendy Williams show. But this was a situation where the two of them got really, really uh, they talked openly kind of about everything. And she had said a lot of things about him. She thought she had alleged that he had sent a girl group back in the day to like beat her up. She had said that she thought he was responsible for her losing her job at the radio station. She had said that she thought he was very, very controlling to his then girlfriend, Cassie. Probably all correct. He was on her show. They had this really strange, awkward interview, 7-8 minute long interview. And soon after that, look what happened to Wendy Williams. Now, I'm not saying that it was connected. Her health is connected to Diddy. I'm just saying, like, it just seems suspect. There's a lot of things that are just like questioning. Now, the one thing that has really thrown me is how Jaguar Wright says in one of her interviews recently. Now, who is Jaguar Wright? She was a singer. She was very big in the R&B world. She kind of came up with P. Diddy and Jay-Z. And she actually she was a singer that worked with Jay-Z. And I guess on Jay-Z Unplugged, which was like a very big album and show on MTV. Do you guys remember MTV Unplugged? Like the best of the best. She was on that singing. Like she was very much involved in this. She says, I've only ever signed 2 NDAs. My entire career, I've only ever signed 2 NDAs. And those 2 are with Jay-Z. She straight up says Jay-Z should be next, that he was just as bad, just as involved, and just as corrupt. Now, when I first told my husband this story, this was like on Thursday when this all kind of started. And I was like, did you hear? Diddy's arrested, this and this and that. He was like, I don't get it. What specifically is the crime? And I'm like, that's a really good question because no one really knows like how big or how small this crime is. I know that it's not just because having orgies with consenting adults with a lot of lube and a lot of Ciroc is totally legal. Like there's no laws against what you do in your bedroom. You know what I mean? Unless you're dealing with underage people, which allegedly there was a lot of underage activity, paid sex workers who are being held in ways that maybe they don't want to be there. And treated maybe dangerously or like, bad for their health, if there's drugs involved. And it sounds to me like there was a lot of coercion on the case. Like Jaguar Wright said in many cases that a lot of these guys, to get the women on the music videos that we all grew up watching and like singing and dancing to, like all of like the Puff songs, those women were SA'd right before they had to go out there and be on the set. And if they didn't, they would go back and get essayed again and had to go back. Like, there's crazy allegations. Now, this is all alleged and this is all just hearsay. Okay. So many things are wrong here. Now, I want to go into something that is really, really crazy. And this is just going to be the first half. I'll do a recap of the second half from what I have not read it. I'm just recapping to you the recaps I've heard of Kim Porter's book. Kim Porter wrote a book before she died, mysteriously, of pneumonia in her, 30s, 40, young. Kim Porter, I don't know the year that she died and how old she was. This was a healthy, beautiful woman who was with Diddy for years and years and years and ended up having kids with him. And she was around for these big white parties and stuff. She allegedly wrote this book. Some people are saying she didn't write this, and maybe she didn't. No one knows for sure. She's gone, right? But you can understand that anything you hear about she didn't, you can't really trust anything anymore, because his team and his line of people and all the people that are implicated in this are huge names. And these people have power and they have a lot of things that they can control. So it's very easy for them to say, this is not real. This book was made up by some random chick in her bedroom. It's really crazy. Okay. I want to just tell you a couple things that I took notes on in the beginning of the book. So this goes through her time with Diddy. And like I said, I only have the first part. They start dating. They meet at, like, I don't even know, young. They start dating. He's just starting in the industry. He's definitely not successful like he was towards the end. He was very, just like beginning, getting into it. Okay, thank you, Mother of Papillon says she was 47 when she died in 2018. Okay. So Diddy and she start dating. And in these early years, she says, this is very early on in their relationship, that he begged her to, I'm going to use the word peg him. Now, if you don't know what the word peg means, I want you to think of dame.com, use code DailyDose30. I want you to think of toys, and I want you to think of a woman operating this on a man in what usually can only be kind of thought of as behavior that okay, it's kind of how he was begging for a pegging, Alicia says. Okay, do you guys get it? I don't need to like go into more details there. Okay, if I use the words bottom and top, like, we get it, right? We don't have to, like, I don't have to show you a Venn diagram. So he would beg her to peg him, and she would do it until he would get injured. And one time they get in a fight, and she says, and this is all alleged, she says, isn't Clive the one pegging you? Clive Davis, huge music executive, been around forever, besties with the Kardashians, right? Isn't he the one pegging you? He slaps her. This is early on in their relationship. She leaves. She's like, I'm out. She had a young boy at home. She was already at this point married to Al B. Sure. Al is a man that Al B was her ex-husband. We'll get into him in just a moment from what you guys have just shared with me. She leaves. He comes to her with flowers, big, I'm sorry. I love you. I love you. Your son is like my son. And that's what gets her to say, I'll give you another chance. They get back together. She mentions Jane Deal in this book, the bodyguard. She mentions that all of a sudden it gets a little wild, right? He starts bringing in all these girls for threesomes. Mary J. Blige is mentioned many times, actually, in some of these books. I mean, in some of these videos. Mary J. Blige allegedly was 24 and sleeping with a 15, 16-year-old boy. His name is Danny Boy. Yeah. Alleged. So all these women are coming in for threesomes, and she's okay with it. She's young. She's like, we partied, we were having fun. And then she says one day she comes home and she sees her ex-husband, Usher, sitting at the kitchen table or at the table with Diddy. Wait, why is my ex-husband with Diddy? Why is my ex-husband with my current boyfriend? They have no connection. They have no relationship. Guys, she allegedly, according to this book, was told to have a threesome. She had a threesome with her ex-husband and her current man, Diddy. And before you knew it, those threesomes turned into twosomes with Diddy and her ex-husband, meaning Diddy preferred men. Okay? Now, do I judge a gay man? Absolutely not. Do I judge a man like this? Keeping it in the closet and treating all these people all these ways and these horrible? Yes. He would put all of these encounters on video. Even back then. It's all there. Like, why? Did he get off on watching these things later? Now, there's a little Tupac story that gets involved here. Obviously, that's a huge part of this. Essentially, Tupac becomes very close with them. She has a little thing with Tupac. Okay, Kim Porter. And Diddy is in love with Tupac, according to Kim Porter. That's wild, right? There was okay, I don't want to get into the Tupac story too much on this one. I'm just wanting to stay in the Kim Porter Diddy relationship. The threesomes were aplenty, according to this book, according to Kim Porter. Jamie Foxx, very much a part of these threesomes with Diddy and her. And these aren't just a threesome that two friends are hooking up with the same girl, but they don't touch. This is a very, obviously. Sean Carter. Do you know who that is? Jay-Z. Also, very much a part of this. Sharing a bed. The two Seans were sharing a bed. Look, I look like Trump when I'm doing this. The two Seans were sharing a bed. It was huge. Huge. They shared a bed. Okay? The final story I'll tell you, and this is not about Tupac, this is just the sexual relationship, which is shocking to me. She mentions a story where she and Jada Pinkett Smith were together, sleeping together. She walked out of the bedroom one morning. Diddy walks out of another bedroom with Will Smith. Get my wife's name out your fucking mouth, Will Smith. Allegedly in bed with another man who she calls Blank, meaning Kim Porter even did not want to release this man's name. All I know about Blank is that Blank is a very, very powerful executive in the record industry in something like that because he talks about my label. Will Smith and this man were cuddling in bed. Get my wife's name out your fucking mouth. Guys. And this is just where it's starting, right? Now, she kept trying to get out of the marriage or the relationship. She kept trying. And every time she would see abuse, he would become abusive. She would say, he would say basically you got to keep all of this under wraps, the gay thing. It was all about the fact that he was you can't tell anyone, that I'm gay. Now, do I believe that Diddy was gay? Yes, I mean, I think you can say he was bisexual. I personally believe if all of this is true, I believe a man like him. I mean, gosh, I don't know. This is tough. And you guys tell me, especially my gay watchers. I wonder if you are, because I know like my husband is straight, right? He identifies as a straight male. And he tells me that he would never by accident like have sex with a man, like, or just like to try it. Like, it's just not something he is interested in. So I always think if a man is having sex with another man, yeah, I think that you probably are gay or at least bisexual or gay and being and acting bisexual so that you're still like assimilating to the quote unquote norm. Now, what Mark just said was homophobia is alive and well. It's deep in the African American community. That 100%, my friends, is true. And especially in the hip hop community. So Jaguar Wright was saying in another interview that she was like, in the 90s, we never could talk openly about these guys being gay. It wasn't like now with Lil Nas X. It wasn't like now with all these other performers who are like, yeah, I'm gay. And it's good. This is who I am. And we all like support and all good. It was very different in the 90s. It was very hidden, but it was very flash. There was a lot of flashiness involved here. It was a lot of look at me. You know, the white party pictures that came out today on Daily Mail. Did you guys see some of these pictures? When I tell you I saw Regis Philbin at one of these parties, I said, what the now, I think Regis Philbin was part of his white parties, like, I mean, part of these late night encounters that we've seen? Absolutely not. That's not even a thought to me. I think that a lot of people would go to his parties, like the daytime hours of the party, right? Before it gets the after party. It's the party before the after party. And I believe that if, you know, it's kind of like what happens after hours. And I think like people like Joy and Regis Philbin were like, we're in the Hamptons. Let's go and hang out with the stars. I freaking love Regis and I miss him. I miss him so much. He always used to say, incidentally, I loved Regis. Let me try to find these pictures. Wouldn't that be funny if they were just like wiped off the face of the internet already? These pictures had a lot of J-Lo in them. Lots of J-Lo. Hold on. Where are they? There is no world that they were wiped from the internet, from Daily Mail already. It was the top story this morning. I would be shocked. You guys, is it possible? Hold on. Hold. We have to find. There's no way. Hold on. Diddy, white parties, Daily Mail. Okay. They hid it. They hid it off their main page. That's really interesting. Okay, let me show you some of these pictures. I thought this was really interesting. Okay, so this is Diddy. This is like back in the aughts, right? 2000s. Cameras are following him. Of course, everything was followed. In this video, he basically says, kids were told one day y'all gonna want to come, but like we have one more hour of kids, night. This is Diddy and J-Lo, 2000. This is July 2nd, 2000, at one of his notorious white parties at his East Hampton mansion. What do you think J-Lo saw? Now, in this picture, I bet you would be shocked to find out that Carrie Bradshaw, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Matthew Broderick are in this picture. When I saw this, I said, what? Some of the other names you may recognize, of course, Kimora Lee and Russell Simmons, which we know Russell Simmons is involved in some of this crazy stuff. Billy Zane. If you don't remember Billy Zane from Titanic, and many other movies, of course. Veronica Webb, models. I mean, so many other people, but Aaliyah, of course. Aaliyah is in this picture, which is a big one. There's Diddy overlooking his party. All these people down there. Look at Leonardo DiCaprio hanging out. Now, all of these pictures, you're not seeing anything that crazy, but it just goes to show the power that this guy had. Everyone would go to his parties. I mean, these are half naked chicks or fully naked. I don't even know, where they're pouring bottles of alcohol inside each other's mouths. And people are just like standing around, like just at a party, no big deal. This is Diddy pouring champagne all over half naked women, half naked women kind of walking around just in the middle of the day. I mean, they look almost like they were hired. These are all the guys up there. This is Doug E. Fresh, Andre Harrell, and Diddy at the Real White Party in September 2007. You realize that this is just the beginning of what is to come later. Now, this is the one that I just know. I know something is going to come out about Ashton. I feel it. Allegedly, I feel it. I feel it strongly. This is Tommy Lee and Diddy, 2007. Here's some models that were hired. You can't judge, they're hired. These are all hired help. Diddy, who cares? Now, this picture, Jay-Z. Who else do we recognize here? I see J-Lo here. There's Billy Zane again. Like, why is Billy Zane so part of this? Bunch of people that I can't really recognize in this picture. I mean, think about the amount of drugs and alcohol that were being taken at these parties. Now, this is Kim Porter. This is the woman who I just told you about who wrote the book. And this is their 2 kids, the twins that they have. Models. This is Diddy again, just talking over everyone. And this was the picture that stopped me in my tracks. Regis and Joy Philbin. I died when I saw this. I said, poor Regis. You know, he's dead, poor Regis. Like RIP. And he has to like live with knowing that his picture is out there. But this is like Vera Wang. And I don't know who these other people are, but they look like legit people. I mean, they're probably all partying, but like a lot of rosé, you know. I don't think Regis Philbin was snorting anything off anyone's body. You know what I'm talking about? Here's Russell Brand. Think about the crazy shite these 2 got into. And then a picture that I thought was the most wild thing out of all of, Chevy Chase and David Blaine. Also so weird. But the picture that I thought was just the wildest of them all was, gosh, where is that picture? They're all around a pool. This picture. Okay. It's all of these women and men at this party. And the first thing I notice, and you tell me why I notice this, look how long all of the women's dresses are. In 2007, the length that women's dresses should have been were knee length. Can you imagine wearing a knee length dress now without pockets? Like, it's just so funny, the trends. Because if this party was in 2024 right now, this girl's dress would be, you know, the main girl's dress, it would be showing her ass. So I just thought that was so interesting. You know, it's like a cultural shift. Anyway, we'll go into the rest of the Kim Porter book tomorrow. Something that you guys are going to have to come back for. This is really, really interesting. Yeah, Cynthia says most of the celebrities that attended Hef's parties didn't know what was going on either also. I do believe that a lot of these people just went to Hollywood parties. They had no idea that there was anything illegal behind the scenes. I don't think they had any idea that there was crazy drugs, sex, orgies, this, that. I don't. I am not in any way. Daily Mail is posting these photos and I find it fascinating. Like, I can't wait for the documentary. I want to see the footage from these parties. Like, I find it fascinating that all these huge people, huge successful people, the Oprahs of the world, the people that everyone looks up to, were hanging out with this man while he was committing severe crimes. This is after he allegedly had something to do now with Biggie and Tupac's deaths. This is alleged, all alleged. But like, it's all crazy. Diddy needed to be in control. That's why he stands over there over the balcony. This is my domain. These are my people. They're under me. And I'm going to, you know, pew pew everyone around me until I'm on the top of the ladder again. Finally, it's like all coming out. I believe that they would have never arrested him the way they did and done the raids without real legitimate information. It's all coming out. They didn't arrest him over sex. You know what I mean? The sex is just one little part of it. It'll be really, really crazy. Okay. Let's move on. Let's shake it off. Let's shake it off and get into Sister Wives. Are we okay with that? I talked about that for a long time, but it was needed. Oh, I did want to talk about Usher. Kim Porter's first. I did promise that I was going to look into that. Hold on. I'll be sure. Usher, this is of course Kim Porter's ex, posted a video of what looks like Kim and Al. And he's he's posting something that he wrote. He said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna deal with this later. I don't want to say anything wrong. Okay, let's move on to something less disturbing. You need a Diddy only episode. Yes, let's move on. See, sorry, it's the lube. Okay, now for real, let's get into Sister Wives. Sister Wives was once again a banger of an episode, and I'll tell you why. Because we had it all. Okay, now remember, we're still in the year 1972. This is it's always so confusing for our brains, but this is still back prior to, it's after COVID, we know that, but it's prior to Christine and David's relationship together. It's prior to Christine even meeting David, who we ended up already seeing the wedding. It's prior, to the death of Garrison, which took place in 2023. We are far back. We are back. Like, I was 7 years old when they filmed this episode. Okay. I just want you to understand. I was a zygote. I was not even an embryo. I was a zygote when this episode was being filmed. So this is the kind of shit that we're dealing with on my favorite show, Sister Wives. And Cody, since the beginning of time, you can be certain about anything. Death, taxes, and Cody Brown is a douche. Okay. These three are the only certainties of life. So the episode really focuses on like the future of their financial standings. Kind of, there's a lot of obviously B stories and C stories, meaning the main story though is about what's next financially for these people. And it's always kind of been a little bit up in the air. Who's paying for what and who's paid for who and where did the money come from with this person and that person? But in reality, what we're kind of getting from this is that Robin and Cody, remember their Purple Passion Paradise palatial home, the purple love nest, like P. Diddy could never, you know what I mean? The purple love nest was Robin and Cody's home. But allegedly, according to these women, Janelle, they all paid and put money in towards Robin and Cody's home as like a shared asset. None of it makes sense. Absolutely none of it makes sense. And it's so confusing. But the beginning of the episode, we see Janelle going with Maddie, her daughter, and Maddie's 2 kids to go see a property in Montana. Now, Janelle, in a strange way, it's always so hard for me to kind of like wrap my head around this, that Janelle wants to be a farmer. She doesn't want to have a full farm, but she wants to really live in this kind of rural lifestyle, right? She wants the couple animals. She wants a greenhouse. Okay. She wants the area. And for some reason, I don't connect that with Janelle's personality. In my opinion, I feel like Janelle's like, I'm going to go to the local coffee shop and I'm going to, see my friends. I just don't see it. But this is how Janelle works, right? Janelle loves herself a large farm. And she's talking about this with Maddie, how Coyote Pass has still not been paid off. Guys, I'm going to tell you something, and this is a spoiler. Coyote Pass will never be paid off. Ever. Never. Ever. Coyote Pass will end up in the Smithsonian as the longest running storyline on a TV show that never actually came to fruition. Coyote Pass will soon become known as Cody Brown's gravesite. He will die on Coyote Pass, just not in a house. This house will never, ever, ever be built. This dream of Coyote Pass. Okay. There is a very confusing thing about paying each other off. So Christine quitclaimed out of Coyote Pass. She's gone. She gone. Okay. Christine has blown the coop. She's the smartest one out of all of them. Janelle somehow is still invested and she sort of still wants to pay it off and like live there. It's very confusing to me. Murray wants nothing to do with living anywhere near there or nearby them. And Cody, in fact, would probably set the house on fire if Mary even dared to try to build on Coyote Pass. The only person that's still hoping for this all to work out is freaking Robin. Robin needs to listen to one song and one song only on repeat. And it's called Let It Go by Elsa in the Frozen movie. Let it go, let it go. You are You need to wake up. You need to wake the F up, my love. I know that you are chained by the dollars that these women are bringing to you. Mary with her LuLaRoe and Janelle with her Plexus and God knows what else, because you need that money. But Robin, my friend, the dream is done. Okay. The dream of Coyote Pass and living together and being sister wives on the porch is in the jail cell with Diddy. It's done. It's not seeing the light of day anymore. We're done. We got to move on. We got to move on. Robin, move the F on. So, Maddie, this is a better move for Janelle to buy a property with Maddie and Caleb. Has Caleb mentioned, like, is he cool with it? Is Caleb around? I haven't seen Caleb in a long time on the show. What's crazy is that, Robin has this whole story that we were all working together. We were all working together and kind of like putting our money together. And then all of a sudden, it's just like not happening anymore. Robin, you took all their money and you didn't do anything in return. Robin has not financially ever helped out Janelle, Christine, Mary. Robin has just been sitting there and crying. Robin is depleting the world of its natural resources. That's what Robin's doing. Hairspray, eyebrow pencil, and lots of Kleenex. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I feel like everyone should have done their own thing. I have no idea why all the money was put into, Robin and Cody's house. Because Robin and Cody feel like a shared entity. They're like a separate entity than everyone else. And it was kind of like Janelle on her own, Mary on her own, Christine on her own, and Robin and Cody. And everyone had to like give to their master, Cody, master of ramen hair. And Robin had a nanny. Exactly. Michelle's so funny. She says, Maddie was all of us on this episode. Her face in that car ride. It's so true. Janelle's like, well, your dad, this. And Maddie's like, why? Why isn't he paid it? Janelle has no conversations with her dad. Maddie has no conversations with her dad. They do not talk. They are not connected. They are not friends. Something about that feels very, very fishy to me. Maddie seems like she has a good head on her shoulder. Maddie's a smart person. Maddie cut the shit out of her dad. She cut him out because he's toxic. He's toxic. And she saw it. And I think most people, when they remarry and find someone else and you're like, oh, you're an example of what a father and a husband should be. I don't want this shit in my life anymore. That's what I did. That's how I saw in reality, like, whoa, when you have kids of your own and you're like, I could never do that to my kids the way my parents did that to me. So like, I don't want to love on them anymore, just because they literally, had sex and created me. Okay, so I love how Robin is like, I know that Cody hasn't really been speaking to his kids, but like it's a two-way street. They haven't been reaching out to him. Why would you reach out to him? What does he bring for your life other than, shit? And Cody's like, I wanted a relationship with Maddie. I wanted a relationship, but every time we talked to her, I just felt like she was just fishing for gossip. So it's her fault we don't talk. It's everyone's fault except Cody. Cody's going to write a book called It's Your Fault, Not Mine. That's like a clear narcissistic behavior, right? The victim, the permavic. He's a perma-victim, that Cody man. By the way, quick break to say 424 of you guys are watching live. Have you subscribed? Get in there, babes. We're so close to the next ring. So anyway, they see this house in this acre, like 40-acre property in Montana. And Janelle's like, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, but it's kind of far. It's a 40-minute drive to school every day. And that would be really hard. And I just love Janelle. I love how, like, I think of all the moms, I would definitely choose Janelle or Christine, right? Definitely. When I see Christine at her house with at Aspen's house for dinner. So it's Aspen, Maddie, Isabel, Isabel. I think Hayden is there. Hunter is there. Some husbands are there. McKelty's there. It's like, it's the best of the best, right? It's like the cream of the crop of the sister wives kids. And they're all together in this one small little kitchen. And Christine is so cute. She goes, I just love a full table when there's not enough room to put around, like to put things on it. It just makes me feel so full and like overflowing. She goes, it's so nice that I can feel like so rich inside. How beautiful is that? And then they're all just like laughing, right? They're all just laughing together. Peyton comes in. He's like, I'm a bodyguard at a gentleman's club. They're drinking beers. They're normal. They're just normal family. This is the family side that I would choose to be with, not those Robin depressing kids. Now, I don't want to talk about like sad. I don't want to talk sad and mean things about like Robin's kids, but whoa. If there was ever a description on a poster of like sad and sorrow, it's Robin's kids. That Brianna and I forget the other one, they're sitting there, they just in their confessionals when they're talking about how they were never involved in the other kids' lives, and they never felt like they were really invited in, and they always felt like a little separated. I'm curious, you guys, do you believe that the girls were shunned by the rest of the family, or do you believe that Robin created this divide between her own kids and the other kids? Because I kind of believe both. I'm not going to lie. I do believe that there was a strong part of these other kids, and I'm saying like Christine and Janelle's kids, who maybe were very accepting of Robin's kids at the beginning, but as Robin pulled their dad further away from them, they were like, F these girls. Jealous. It's a jealousy thing. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them for feeling jealous, because if my dad stopped like spending time with me and stopped giving me love and was like all about his new wife's kids, it's not even his joint kids with the wife, it's his stepkids, and he was showing them more love than me, yeah, I would think I would be upset with them too. I think I'd probably push them away too. Right? Now, there's two sides of this, because we talked about parental alienation earlier on in the show. And Michelle says Robin tells her kids that the rest of the family doesn't want them to be around them. They were not shunned. Gwendolyn and Gabe were very close to the girls. So, yeah, I see that too. I think that Robin, sad McSad, goes over to her kids and she's like, girls, I have some very bad news. Not everyone's going to like you. And they just don't like you. They don't like you. So we have to stick together. Okay, because at least we have Cody, we have art in our walls, and we have a purple palace. It's just, I think it's both sides. I do. I don't think Christine and Janelle specifically said, hey, Maddie, shun the new girls. I don't think so. I don't think that it was a parent thing. I think it was a kids thing. Now, we do see a scene where Janelle is still in Flagstaff. What year is this? Couldn't tell you. It could be 2007. Janelle is still in Flagstaff in a new apartment, and it's so much less cluttered than the apartment she was in last time. Do you remember the apartment she was in last time when Cody came over with the Christmas tree behind her? And he came over and he's like, oh, you're a bitch. And she goes, fuck you, Cody. It's a nicer apartment. Maybe it's a model apartment for the show. Maybe they finally, ponied up some money for a set. And in this, scene, Janelle is like, and this is confusing because Christine's like, I don't know where they stand. Janelle doesn't open up a lot to me. So she's like, Janelle, like, are you with Cody? And Janelle's like, no. And then Christine's like, but are you with Cody? And Janelle's like, I don't talk to Cody. And then Christine's like, so did you talk to Cody about where you're going for Thanksgiving? And Janelle's like, I don't know who Cody is. And and then Christine's like, but are you married to Cody? Like, it was a very strange scene. I'm like, what is happening here? You can't really pick up the writing on the walls. Janelle is over Cody. She's done. But she doesn't want to get a divorce, because getting a divorce to her either feels like, and I don't understand this, but it feels like either a failure. It means that she has to actually like go against her faith, which means she's done with her marriage, or it just seems like a lot of work. Like, I can't really read why Janelle is so against divorce, but she doesn't want to be divorced. She's like, I don't want to be divorced. It gives me a bad feeling. It makes me feel, I think it's totally sufficient to just say I'm not with the father of my kids anymore. And I get that. But is Christine like not getting it? I don't think she was getting it. I was like, Earth to Christine, we are over Cody. Like, everyone knows. There was a whole patriarchy conversation that I kind of like, my brain went to like another place. I was like, are we going to listen to Cody cry about patriarchy? I didn't know I was in a patriarchy. Cody says, you know, the one thing about being the man in these polygamous marriages is I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice if I want to stay or leave. I've got to stick in this. I can't leave a marriage, you know. I'm just a victim to whatever these women want to do. I'm a pawn. And you know what? I got kicked out of the club that I created. I created this club and they kicked me out. And I decided that's it. I'm starting my own club. And it's called Curly Hair Anonymous. CHA. Cha. You want to join Cha? All you got to do is bring your curly hair and a patriarchal attitude. Zach Affleck, I'm looking at you, my friend. Mary is like, yeah, I think I'm done with this marriage. And Cody's like, Mary, get it through your skull. I'm over you. You smell. I hate you. Cody has never hated anyone more than Mary. I truly believe Cody is so, you know the word, I got the ick? Cody got the ick, schmick, and Vic. Cody hates Mary. Now, one thing that he said about her, which gave us a little insight into their marriage, which I didn't really know this about their marriage. He goes, she was always angry with me. Always angry. Now, I would do anything to find out like some secret side of Cody and Mary, that they had these most like insane, passionate sex and fights, and like give us some good. But all I hear is that he said to Mary, this is his example. She's always mad. You want some gum, Mary? And she goes, I don't like spearmint. And when I heard that, I said, this is your example? In all of these relationships, this is your example? Do you want gum? I don't like spearmint. Orbit gum, extra. Get on this. You got to get Mary on one of your ads. If I were her, I would go all in on the gum train now. I'd be like, I didn't like Cody's spearmint, but I do like Orbit's spearmint. I almost want to find. Okay, here we go. Here's the clip.
Just there's some baggage that Mary had that I didn't know about. Initially, I felt like I could live with it. I mean, here, baby, want a piece of gum? You know I don't like spearmint. I can't live in a world where
You know I don't like spearmint. Mary, how could you? What a bee. God, can you imagine telling your husband you don't want his gum? Cody, only Cody. I was abused. My wife didn't want spearmint. He's totally a liar. Exactly. Janelle said that Mary and Cody were very affectionate when she met them. I think it's very easy to rewrite history. I think it's very easy to be like, I never wanted to sleep with her. And meanwhile, at the beginning of their relationship, he was all about her. He was completely horrified, petrified, embarrassed, mortified is the word I'm looking for during the catfishing experience. And after that, it was over. And like, it makes sense. It makes sense. He was not interested in Mary anymore. She betrayed him. She embarrassed him. He also probably was over her. He had the hot new piece of ass, Robin, and it just didn't work. Yeah, this is when he says his feeling of being a victim. And this is like, I just want you guys to look at what he looks like when he's saying this. And I'll play you guys the clip.
the thing in plural marriage that is very funny about divorcing is a man has no choice after he's already married in plural marriage. If he wants to stay faithful and in the faith, he cannot request a divorce. It's not allowed. So I was not able to get out of that relationship.
Can we take a moment for his hair in the flashback clip? He has a moment with Mary, a picture that he took with Mary when they first started dating. And I want to say this may be very similar to Whitney from Mom Talk's hair. I'm just seeing it. He went from being Whitney and Mom Talk to Zach Affleck. Let me show it to you guys. It's really interesting. It's like the evolution of Cody's hair could be a book. If I were Cody, I would release a book on the evolution of my hair because it's really it's gone through a lot. This is Cody when he used to be identifying as a woman. Just kidding. What? Cody has Whitney Levitt from Mom Talks hair. It's that flat and then should I be Cody for Halloween? I think I should be Cody for Halloween. Anyway, the episode continues where, it's just more of Cody talking about how horrible and sad his life is. And all the other women just like looking up, right? The other women have nowhere but up to go. And Cody has nowhere but down. And truthfully, he is so depressed. He thinks Robin is the only one that has brought him loyalty. Everyone in his life has screwed him over, including Robin, by the way. It will happen to Robin too. I can guarantee you right now, at this day, Monday, September 23rd, I will say right now that Cody and Robin will not go the long run. I mean, I don't know what Robin will do because she has no money, but I don't believe that they're going to end up together. So Janelle says she thinks she has to go to a lawyer. She thinks she has to get a lawyer involved because Cody is not speaking to her about Coyote Pass. The first rule about Coyote Pass is we don't talk about Coyote Pass. So she now has to get an attorney involved, which is just so stupid. And honestly, Cody sucks. I mean, that's the final moral of the story at the end of every single episode, right? It's all just so uncomfortable and awkward. And I love how Janelle goes, I hope in a couple years this just all calms down. Well, we're a couple years later. I guess it's calmed down. I don't know. I mean, according to Janelle, she finally got a piece of property. She posted about it on her Instagram. So, Robin's kids feel very separated and the story continues that way. So I can't wait for next week where, we just see more of the same. We see McKelty giving birth and being very upset about the way it happened. We'll have a lot of interesting conversations. You guys, thank you so much for being here for another extra long Daily Dose of Donna. We're at 82 minutes of this live. I appreciate you guys. I love you. We will talk about all of it and more. I try to keep it light and tight, although Diddy is very dark and not tight. Dark and loose. It's so dark. But we try to end it on positive. So thank you so much for subscribing, for liking this video. Follow me on Instagram at This Is Donna Bowling and on TikTok at This Is Donna Bowling. And then, of course, you can always give a 5-star rating and write a review for Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And tell your friends. I got a text message from my sister. This is so cute. Her stepdaughter. So my sister's husband's daughter graduated college. She's like 24 years old. And she got a text message from one of her friends saying, I am freaking out right now because this girl that I've been following on TikTok for so long is related to your stepmom. And that's me. And I'm like, I've made it. The 24-year-olds are texting about me. Really, truly, this is the pinnacle. I have made it to the top. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. See you tomorrow. Bye.